Out of the top 30 best-selling manga, 23 are categorized as shonen, 5 of them are in Fortnite, and 0 of their creators have serious criminal charges. Don't ask about number 32. Shonen anime is what I refer to as the gateway drug of anime, being targeted at boys between 12 years old and 18 years and 1,188 months old. Shonen is a broad term, since it is a demographic that encompasses a multitude of stories, because if you think about it, a lot happens between these ages. When I was 13, I had no experience dating, didn't even hold hands with a girl, and by 18, I almost talked to one. This is why I'm primarily focusing on battle shonen, which can be pretty confusing, which is why I created a comprehensive guide to help you understand the complex subject that is shonen. The first thing that needs to be built is the protagonist. So take a child, dye their hair an eye-catching color, and spike it with enough hair gel, making their greatest enemy a single spark. Interestingly enough, many anime fans try to replicate this hairstyle by never showering, using their grease as hair gel.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 shonen protagonists are affected by DPD? Dead parent disorder will result in great childhood trauma, even if that parent is metaphorically dead. So call today if you or a loved one has been affected by DPD, because you may be liable for financial compensation.
Realistically, if you suffer from DPD, you end up in therapy or VR chat. But in the world of anime, you become Chris Bumstead. Next, they need a near impossible goal, which can be found by filling in the blank. I want to be the blank. I want to protect my blank. Or more realistically, if you're Denji, I want a girlfriend. And I want to blank. The personality for the protagonist is virtually always the same. They are good, honest, brave, hard-working, naive, and stupid people. They're meant to represent the moral good of humanity. So to them, murder, bad, boo! Lying, bad, boo! Ethnic cleansing, though? This is why they're mostly stagnant characters, because they change the world around them. The protagonist must start out as the weakest of the main cast, yet stronger than the average Joe. This is to create an underdog dynamic of how hard work can beat out natural-born talent. Then it turns out they're the chosen one and the descendant of Zeus and Chaewon. Next, the side characters. The rival is one equal to the protagonist in skill and determination, but not equal in the amount of women that want them. The rival has two options, either to be on the protagonist's side or against them, and without a doubt, they do not want to be on their side. If they're on the protagonist's side, their sole purpose is to never win the big battle. To prove this, Sasuke's solo loss rate while on Naruto's side was 58%, and while he wasn't, it was 25%. Then you have the old teacher who doesn't want to train the protagonist at first, but does after gaining respect for them, which can be gained in different ways. If there is a squad, you will have a girl who is a girl. Then you have the vast array of side characters. The really smart character, the fat character, the fan service character, the world building characters, the badass old man, the team mascot, the strongest, and the comic relief character. His name is Sir Touch-A-Lot, and he loves assaulting women for comedic purposes. This is what Ultron saw before he decided to wipe out humanity. Many call side characters wasted potential and say they never get enough screen time, but it's not called Rock Lee, it's called Tintin. Even though side characters are often more loved than the main cast, unfortunately, the purpose of them in the story is to show up, tell their story, then show up like celebrity appearances on kids' TV shows. Just pray that you're not a side character in a flashback, otherwise you will have a comical death. The overarching villain is just as important as the protagonist. If the protagonist represents all of the good in the world, the villain represents all of the evil. If the protagonist donates to charity, then the villain donates to charity too, but like as a tax write-off. Their lives typically mirror each other, but the difference is the villain took the wrong path. This is why they have a grand plan to save the world, usually through genocide, but an understandable genocide. The way you know that the villain was well written is if you see people saying, "He's such a pure soul. I hope he comes back." That was about Aizen, by the way. But the most important characteristic all of them share is that they have a chip in their brain that forces them to compare the protagonist to insects. In order to combat the protagonist team, they form a secret villain organization, a league of villains if you will. These members are all evil for different reasons, but share a common goal. The Akatsuki is one of the most memorable, with each of them representing reasons people start wars. Hidan for religion, Kakuzu for money, and Deidara for failing art school. The storylines often involve similar arcs, since they all are coming-of-age adventures. Training arcs are fundamental to demonstrate that if you have a goal, you must work hard, devoting lots of your time to it. Or be Bronny James. These arcs consist of lots of training.
Back in my day, Goku spent 30 episodes on a spaceship training. Now you kids do them off-screen, calling them time skips.
Tournament arcs are my favorite, consisting of a fighting tournament. But it's really cool, look at this. Ooh, maybe not. Rescue missions are where someone kidnaps a completely pathetic, weak woman that needs to be saved. If you can't tell, I'm talking about Sasuke. Better be a woman the way he got Naruto gripping his sheets at night thinking about him. Then you have, what? Oh, filler. When this song starts playing, you know Naruto's about to spend the whole episode chasing an ostrich around. Fillers are self-contained stories that have no bearing on the canon plot, except of course the Bount arc. Filler used to be far more prevalent in weekly shonen anime in order to prevent the anime from catching up to the manga. People often complain about how much filler older anime have, making it difficult to watch, and I gotta agree with them. Making a whole filler arc about Baruto's dad felt like a waste of time. Choosing the abilities for characters is a difficult thing to do, unless you're talking about parents. They will have the exact same powers as their children. The protagonist has a choice to make. They either fight with their fist or a very inefficient sword to elongate fights. Their main ability must be simple in nature, but by the end be strong enough to cause the Big Bang, or be called the Big Bang. Yet by far their most powerful ability is friendship and plot armor. They should also have transformations that any viewer might try to replicate. There have been numerous kids who tried to become Super Saiyan while no one was looking, but we probably just looked constipated. Side characters, on the other hand, have complex and infinitely more interesting powers. Like, did you know that bungee gum has the properties of both rubber and gum? But be warned, if someone has the power of fire, that is not fire, that is a light breeze. Shonen at its core is about action, whether that be the fluid fights of Soul Eater or whatever is going on in Blue Lock. There are a few ground rules in place that most of these fights follow. When a character is powering up, you must allow them to do so while watching with a shocked expression on your face while internally monologuing.
No, this can't be. This is impossible.
If someone is injured, they must appear in great pain at first, but then not let it affect them the rest of the fight. If someone is in a losing position, they must use a transformation, flashback, or if they're a villain, use that damn smirk while saying,
"This whole time I haven't been trying."
Which is insane. Imagine Mike Tyson saying, "I'ma have to use 10% of my power." Then he bites your ear off. Yelling is another way to increase your strength. The louder, the better. So if you have asthma and want to be a protagonist, get reincarnated. Naming attacks is crucial to increase the power of it. See this little baby no-name punch? But when it's given a name, it's unstoppable. Finally, the fights must end in a big final attack in slow motion. The flow of battles follow the pattern of attack, pause, talk. Attack, pause, talk. Attack, pause, flashback. 90% of the fight will consist of them standing around talking about morals like a college campus quadrangle. Even if they're flying at each other at the speed of sound, they will somehow speak full sentences before colliding. If not morals or flat out explaining their powers, they will be internally monologuing about what is happening in the fight. The villain also has an option to mock them like a preschool bully. "You are so weak and not strong. I'm stronger and you're a loser." The far superior option is to have a narrator explaining every detail that happens.
Upon entering the palace, Killua's first thought was,
"What is Matt Smith doing here?"
that is what he thought. Yuppie at that moment thought,
"I kind of look like Christian Bale."
that is what he thought. Gon only saw the enemy in front of him, having only a single thought.
That was what he thought.
The final problem of the battle is the who can kill who ending. In most cases, the protagonist can't kill the villain, if they're human that is, because it's a kid's show. Ignore that. The villain can't kill the protagonist either, so here's what happens. This isn't good.
It's all over for you. Now die!
Yamcha, no! Now I'm mad! Big sword slash!
You got me, and now I'm fading to dust because showing my dead body might cause lasting effects on children. Ignore that.
Hype is the most important thing to me in Shonen, because if I don't get chills when someone throws a Linkin Park song over a fight, I don't want it. In Shonen, anything can be hype, from a man on Ozempic saying I am here, to someone taking a chip and eating it. When I was a kid, I downloaded one fight that I looped for every single car ride, and that was Natsu and Gajeel versus Sting and Rogue. Do you know how stupid the Sting and Rogue fight was? This is how it went. We're stronger.
No, we're stronger and haven't been trying. No, we're stronger and haven't been trying. No, I'm stronger than both of you by myself, and I wasn't trying.
But you best believe 12-year-old me wet his britches every time Natsu said come on with his fire fingers. Here are a few tropes that may appear. Old anime made sure to reserve the first 5 minutes for a recap, while modern anime replaced them with full recap episodes. Just gonna... Enemies to allies is a good thing to teach kids that you have no enemies and should forgive those who wronged you. So forgive everyone except Ethan Zuckerman, you ruined everything. Fake out deaths will frequently occur. To determine if they're actually dead, ask yourself one question. Is this the final arc? Then no, they're clearly not gonna die. Intros are beloved by the fan base, but never watch them unless you want to get spoiled. There are also a few lines that you may hear. They're moving too fast to see. Sorry I'm late.
Is that all you got?
I refuse to give up. I'll do no matter what. They also have their classic catchphrases. Quick pop quiz, who says, I'm gonna be king of the pirates? That's right, Gin. The shonen fanbase is the worst fanbase that I've ever seen. Actually, maybe they aren't too bad. They're like this not only because it's the biggest, but it's also the youngest fanbase with access to the comment section. They're often irritated by differing opinions if they haven't had recess yet. So if you ever almost get into an argument over shonen, just ask yourself, would you argue with this? That's right, you would. Now tell them about Santa. They're the reason why shonen is the most spoiled literacy outside of the Bible. I'm sure when their children come out of the womb, the first thing they'll say to them is, Aaron is actually the... Wait, I'm not Asian. It's established that if you like one shonen, you cannot possibly like another. If you love Black Clover, then One Piece has awful pacing. If you love One Piece, then One Piece has awful pacing. But comparison is the thief of joy. Your joy, One Piece is the best shonen, and I will let my viewers die on this hill. You may be curious, when is it time for the final arc? Well, simply ask yourself, are they about to fight God? If yes, end the series and make a spin-off. If no, keep the story going and make a spin-off. Many of us fans live off pure nostalgia, only remembering the good parts. If some of these shows premiered today, they would be made fun of to no ends. Come on, Ichigo gets this random power-up. Somebody wrote themselves into a corner. Wow, nice booty shorts transformation. Wow, he's talking to Nagato. This is so deep. I can't wait to see the next episode. Is this filler? In the middle of the climax of the story? Cool, Cell came back and he's perfect again. Talk about lazy writing. Or is it perfect writing? Yet shonen still remains as my most watched type of anime because imagining yourself in these fights is so much more fun than getting into a bar fight. Granted, I wouldn't even be Chaozu, probably more like Farmer with Shotgun. But even now, my favorite anime of all time is a battle shonen technically, and as time goes on, the formula is changing for the better. This is why shonen will always be popular, because there will always be kids. Well, maybe not, but there will always be kids at heart, and I do mean unemployed adults. Fairy Tail fans, Nalu isn't canon, they don't love each other. Wow, not even gonna mention how new shonen is much darker now. People die all the time. Is he gonna talk about how important the soundtracks are? This is just a poorly written script. He forgot so many lines, like I need to get stronger and I won't forgive anyone who hurts my friends. Come on man, do some research. Whew. Hard day reacting to YouTube videos today.
But don't forget to like, comment, and smash that subscribe button. See you next time, YouTube.
Whew, nobody works harder than me.